Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're going to be comparing two of the new combat patrols and see what Games Workshop is doing. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so over the last couple of years, Games Workshop has been trending down the value that's in the combat patrols. We used to see close to like 30 or even up to 40 or 50% off. But recently, they've kind of backed down how good of a deal the combat patrols are, and they're much more in line with like a 20 to 25% discount. We've also seen some complaints from the community about the actual composition of the combat patrols, specifically the Dark Angels box, which was recently released. A lot of people complained because there was no Dark Angel specific units in the box set. Also, the Gravis Captain that came in it cannot be attached to any of the squads inside. So it's not only a value issue, but also a composition issue. And then the actual chapter specific combat patrols just don't feel like they're chapter specific. But recently, Games Workshop showed off the brand new Blood Angels Combat Patrol, and it seems like they've addressed a lot of these issues. While the model count is around the same or slightly less, the actual value inside appears to be substantially better. We also see multiple chapter-specific units inside the box set, and actual composition-wise, in Combat Patrol itself, the character can be attached to the unit inside. So could it be that Games Workshop is actually listening, or is this a one-off event and the Blood Angels Combat Patrol is just really good, or maybe the Dark Angels Combat Patrol is not so good? Let's take a look at them one by one. Alright, so getting started with the actual composition of the Dark Angels Combat Patrol, we first have a Captain in Gravis armor. We also have 10 of the regular Intercessors, 5 Hellblasters, and then also 3 Blade Guard veterans. You're also going to get 2 of the Primaris upgrade frames, which are the older style upgrade frames. So the main issue with this box set that people were complaining about is 1, they already have a ton of Intercessors. 2, the Gravis Captain actually can't be attached to any of the units inside. And then 3, rather than including something like the Inner Circle Companions, which are unique to the Dark Angels, you receive the Blade Guard Veterans, which are just a generic Space Marine unit. And while I actually don't think that this combat patrol is bad composition-wise, it's a pretty nice starting army. It's definitely Dark Angels thematic. It's not really chapter specific. And while I do think part of the reason the Gravis Captain can't be attached to a squad is because in smaller games, having a Gravis Captain in a Gravis unit would be very strong. And I think balance was part of the issue here. It doesn't necessarily excuse Games Workshop for putting out what is kind of a strange composed combat patrol. So let's look at the actual value inside of this box set and see what kind of savings it has to offer. So you're going to get 2 of the Primaris upgrade frames, which are the older style Dark Angels upgrade frames, which is definitely kind of a feel bad thing since a brand new, much better upgrade frame just came out. Those are $15 each. We also have the Gravis Captain for $42. Unfortunately, he can't be attached to any of the units inside. We have a squad of 10 Intercessors for $62.50. We have 5 Hellblasters, which is half of a normal size kit. And typically you're going to be running Hellblasters in 10s. So those come out to $31.25. And then we have a squad of 3 Blade Guard Vets, which are $60. And realistically, most people playing Dark Angels are going to be running Inner Circle Companions, a unique unit to the actual Dark Angels. So there's definitely some room for improvement here had they put them in instead. So the total MSRP inside this box set is $225.75, $226 roughly. The Combat Patrol price is $168 across the board, which means you're going to be saving about $57.75. And when this box set was first unveiled, as someone that's played over 20 games of Combat Patrol with all different factions, I think this actually would perform pretty good. Unfortunately, the previous Combat Patrol had a Redemptor Dreadnought in it, but we definitely know the Games Workshop is kind of trending away from the big centerpieces. Also, part of the reason I don't think they included any chapter-specific units is they want people from all different chapters, anyone that plays Space Marines, to be able to pick up these boxes. But with the lack of discount inside this set, roughly like a 25% discount over MSRP, there's much less incentive to pick up a box set like this because the savings just aren't there. And if you're not going to use the upgrade frames, there's half your savings gone. Or if there's even one of these units, like say the Intercessors that you already have plenty of, there's really no incentive left to pick up this box set for most people. So now in contrast, let's jump over and take a look at the new Blood Angels Combat Patrol. So the Blood Angels Combat Patrol has 2 of the brand new Blood Angel upgrade frames, has 1 of the brand new Blood Angels Captains, has a squad of 10 Assault Intercessors, and then 2 of the brand new Sanguinary Guard squads. The character can be attached to the Assault Intercessors. 3 out of 4 of the kits included in this set are all brand new models and Blood Angel specific. And then also the upgrade frames that are included are the new style upgrade frames as opposed to the old style Primaris upgrade frames. So a lot of the issues that people had with the non-specific chapter units, the lack of new sculpted models, the old upgrade frames instead of the new ones, appear to have all been addressed by Games Workshop. And I think they did a really good job with this box set. So if we total up everything inside, each of the Blood Angel upgrade frames is $35. We have a Captain for $40. We have Assault Intercessors for $62.50. My guess on the Sanguinary Guard is they're going to be $65 a piece. It's possible they come out at $60 a piece, which would be better. But if we total up the MSRP, we come out to $302.50. Or if the Sanguinary Guard are $60 a piece instead of $65, that gives us $292.50. The Combat Patrol price is $168. So that's going to give us a savings of either $134.50, or if the Sanguinary Guard are only $60 a piece, that'll give us $124.50. So that is going to give us roughly 40% savings over MSRP, as opposed to the 25% savings over MSRP from the Dark Angels box. We have the new upgrade frames instead of the old ones. We have a brand new Captain sculpt that's never been sold before. Rather than having the standard Intercessors, we get the Assault Intercessors, which are much better in a Blood Angels army. So it feels like composition was actually thought about in this box set. And then also we have 2 boxes of the new Sanguinary Guard models, which again have not previously been sold. And then of course we have a substantially better discount over MSRP. Now the only drawback is that this box set is basically only for Blood Angels players. There's almost no incentive for people that are not playing Blood Angels to pick up this box set. And while I understand that Space Marine players always want to be able to buy as much stuff as possible, get good deals, one of the main complaints that I heard was that there was no chapter specific units in the box set aside from the upgrade frames.
Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video.
So did Games Workshop actually take into account the complaints that people had from the previous box sets? Was the Dark Angel set a one-off? Is the Blood Angel set a one-off? Can we expect better deals going forward, better composition, and more chapter-specific units? The truth is we really don't know, but I think this is a step in the right direction. When I personally saw this box set, wanting some of the new Sanguinary Guard and liking the new sculpt for the Blood Angels, I got really excited about this box. And while I don't think the Dark Angels box is necessarily bad, and I think in gameplay it's going to be pretty good, I think most of the complaints that we heard about it were valid, including the lack of savings over MSRP. So Games Workshop has announced the next 3 factions that are going to be getting their codex. Likely they're going to be getting new combat patrols, and unfortunately none of them are Space Marines. So it's going to be a while before we see if this is an ongoing trend or if this was a one-off event. But as someone that is critical of Games Workshop when they do things wrong and also pats them on the back when they do things right, I gotta say that I think Games Workshop knocked it out of the park with this combat patrol. And while there's definitely some drawbacks with the new Blood Angels releases, like for instance the Sanguinary Guard losing their cool wings, the kit getting downsized from 5 miniatures to 3, and for instance the Death Company losing their original sculpts and just getting upgrade frames instead, which by the way you could build these 10 Assault Intercessors as Death Company with the upgrade frames that are included. I really like the optionality, and obviously the savings are substantially better. I like that it feels like Games Workshop was listening to people's complaints and addressing them and has made multiple steps in the right direction. So is this the beginning of a new trend for better savings on combat patrols, more thought out composition, the inclusion of chapter specific models, and also a great way to pick up new kits that have otherwise not been sold previously? Only time will tell. And while I really didn't think that the Dark Angels box was terrible composition wise, the savings are substantially lower than what we've come to expect from these combat patrols. And as a typical entry-level product for somebody getting into the hobby or building a new army, something that's always available inside of the range, I'd really like to see a better discount than 25%. And I think Games Workshop has knocked it out of the park with the new Blood Angels Combat Patrol. So let me know what you think down below. Is this the beginning of a new trend in which we see better value, better composition, and more faction-specific models in the new kits, as well as new stuff that's coming out instead of recycling old sprues or units? Do you disagree with me on any of the points? Do you think the Dark Angels Combat Patrol is better, or the Blood Angels Combat Patrol shouldn't have as much chapter-specific stuff? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And while Games Workshop hasn't told us when this Combat Patrol is coming out, I know when it does, I'm going to be picking up at least 1, probably 2 of these bad boys. And I'm out of here.